Today I'm going to show you how I remove, prep, shape my nails, and explain how I apply my builder gel. My builder gel started to lift on a few of my nails, especially on the middle of my ring finger, as unfortunately I had a little nail accident. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to make a video showing you guys how I do my nail reset. What's up YouTube? My name is Alexandra Teleki, also known as the Hot Blend. Welcome to my channel. It can be tricky to figure out how to remove your gels or prep, and things can get a little sketchy if you are using tools or products incorrectly or maybe just not optimally. So I wanted to share what currently works best for me to get natural nails looking their absolute finest. Along the way, I'll explain things to look out for and help you navigate some of the complexities that you may face when doing your nails. There's no one size fits all way to do nails, and if you learned something useful from this video, fantastic. But if you find that other methods work better for you, that's totally okay too. My idea of what looks good won't be the same for everyone. We're all different, and that's what makes us so unique and special. But I'm guessing you're watching this video because you would like to achieve similar results. The most important thing is to be able to carry out the task safely and also be comfortable with a method that works best for you to give you the results that you want. For the removal, I'll be demonstrating two different methods. I'll start by using an electric nail file, and I'll also cover manual removal, as I wish I had a video like this when I was starting out. If you want to grow your nails out and you're not at this stage yet, I would suggest to watch my previous video where I shared a little more about me and my nail journey, and I give some tips and tricks on how to keep your nails long, strong and healthy. There are differences but also similarities between electric and manual removal, as the gel gets debulked and removed differently. So depending on which method you choose, you will need to consider which course of action to take. Here I'm wearing a soakable builder gel and top coat. I like to use builder gels because they help to add additional strength to my natural nails, but are still flexible enough to move a little with my nail plate. I'm going to start by debulking the top coat and builder gel on my nails, and I'm using a flathead medium grade carbide bit with the electric nail file set to a speed I'm comfortable with. There are different types of bits available, but usually a carbide or carbide coated type is what's typically used for smoothing and removal. The bit I'm using is my favorite for removals. I personally find it the easiest to use when debulking and for getting as close as possible to the corners of the gel without touching the skin. It might be obvious to say, but removal should never cause pain or injury. Higher speeds generate heat quicker, especially if you're going over the same spot, so try to keep the bit moving to reduce heat buildup or reduce the speed of the bit if you or the client still feels any discomfort. The reason that I'm debulking the product is because if I don't break the seal of the top coat and file off a good amount of the builder gel, the acetone will take longer to penetrate through the layers. So I'm trying to reduce acetone exposure to the skin and nails, and this way is also more time efficient. It's important that you're using pure acetone for removal, as the acetone can break apart chemical bonds in the gel. IPA will not remove this enhancement, and store-bought nail polish removers may contain acetone, but it will take a much longer time to break down the gel, as they are not as strong. Acetone and IPA are both great for cleansing and dehydrating the nail plate, but acetone is what you want to be using for the removal here. It takes around 10 to 15 minutes of soaking time, but it depends on how much product you were able to file off. If you want to speed up your removal, it's best to work on one nail at a time. Once you filed and debulked the first nail, use some foil and some cotton soaked in acetone to wrap the nail and then move on to debulking the next one. You can buy pre-made foil and cotton wraps, or you can make your own at home. The pre-made ones are definitely more convenient, but I do sometimes make my own if I forget to order. By the time you get to the last nail, the gel on the first nail will be ready to remove. When you remove the foil, you'll see that the builder gel has lifted in places, and this is a sign that it's ready for removal. Hold the pusher just to give you enough leverage to scrape off the gel without digging into the nail. More scrapey and less stabby, guys. If you have some leftover product like I do on the tip of my nail, you can use a high grit buffer to gently remove some more of the excess, then re-soak your nails for another 2 to 3 minutes. What's important with the removal is to not use excessive force and to let the acetone do the bulk of the hard work. If you have long nails like me, place your pinky finger underneath the tip of your nails for support and to minimize bending while removing the product. The gel should come off super easily. You should never apply excessive force to try to remove the gel because you could end up digging into the top layers of the nail plate. If you can see undulating white marks or lines, it means that the top layers of your nail have been removed. This can cause tenderness and sensitivity. You will need to wait until the damage grows out. I'm giving my nails a buff, and this is what it looks like after electric nail file removal. I mentioned earlier that I wanted to show you how I do a manual removal. An electric nail file is more efficient at getting through the gel, so you end up having to do only a couple of soaks before you manage to remove all of the product. Manual filing takes longer, but you can still achieve great results. One of the plus sides of doing removal manually is that it takes longer to make a mistake when comparing to an electric nail file. And if you're just starting out, then manual removal is something I would recommend getting comfortable with doing, as it also gets you used to holding a hand file and working around the nails, which comes in useful when shaping. Instead of using an electric nail file to break the seal of the top coat and gel, you're going to be using a few different grit nail files to get the nails to a state where you can soak them in acetone. If you are using a new 180 grit nail file, I would recommend buffing the sides like I'm showing here to soften the edges. New files can be quite sharp and can easily cut you or a client when filing close to the skin. I am demonstrating the manual removal method on my thumb. I'm starting by debulking on the apex of the nail, which is the highest point of the gel, then I move towards the tip and then onto the sides. I'm not moving the file back and forth too quickly, as it can generate excessive heat and you can easily file into the natural nails without realizing it. I'm also trying to move the file in one direction. If I need to go back and forth, I'll go slowly and keep checking. Also dusting off the nails to make sure that I can see the surface I'm working on clearly and not filing into my nails. It's better to be slow and steady in the beginning, and as you build up your experience and get more confident, you can increase your speed. At first glance, it seems like I removed enough gel, as it appears to be a lot thinner than it was, but this is not the case, which I'll show you. I'm soaking my nails for about 10 to 15 minutes to demonstrate what it looks like when you don't remove enough product. After soaking my nails, I'm using the pusher, and as you can see, only the top layer of the gel is coming off easily, and there is a lot more product underneath. You can tell this by looking at the texture of the surface. It appears rough, dotty and bumpy. Your natural nail plate is a lot smoother than this, so keep filing slowly and take your time with it, as the gel is still too thick. You shouldn't be applying a lot of force to try to remove the gel, as it could damage the natural nails. So instead, continue with debulking using the 180 grit file, brushing in between, and then re-soak the nails for around another 5 minutes. I'm going in with the pusher again, and as I get closer to the nail plate, I'll change my file to a 240 grit to buff off the remaining excess before soaking the nails for the last time for about 1 to 2 minutes. I use the pusher one more time to remove what's left, and then I use a 220 to 280 grit buffer to very gently go over my natural nails. This is what the nail should look like after manual removal. The next step is prep. Prep can be such an easily overlooked step, but it's one of the most important ones. It plays a major role in how long the gel will last on the nails and how the final result will look, as it brings the nail and the surrounding area together. I'm starting out with the cuticle area, and if you're not wanting to prep anywhere else, you should at least do this step. I'm very gently lifting and pushing up the cuticle from the nail plate by using a cuticle pusher, holding it so that the base of the pusher is at the shallow angle on my nail plate. Then I'll slightly lift my epinicium to be able to get to the dry skin underneath. There are different types of cuticle pushers available. You can use metal, plastic, wooden, or even glass tools, depending on your preference. Cuticles are made up of dead skin cells, and you will want to remove it as the gel should be applied directly onto the nail plate. Applying gel onto the cuticle may cause lifting, so removing the cuticle will help your manicures to look their best for longer. If you're using an orange stick, you can use the pointier end to scrape some of the excess cuticle off. Just be careful not to accidentally stab yourself. I didn't use any cuticle remover here, but if you find that the cuticle is firmly stuck to the nail plate, you can use some to soften up the skin, which makes it easier to scrape it off. There are many brands that sell these. I use the Sally Hansen one and I get pretty decent results with it. As I didn't have much cuticle to remove, I decided to record this again using my fiancé's hand, as he has a bit more treasure to find than I do. You may notice that his nail folds are different to mine. They are more shallow, so I'm keeping this in mind and I'll adjust the prep to suit him. It's important to remember that skin and nail types can differ, so choose tools accordingly. Some shown may not suit everyone. The next step is optional. After you use the cuticle remover, you can go around with a nipper to remove any ridges created by the cuticle being pushed up. If you're a beginner or you haven't used the nipper before, you can do some test nips to get used to the feeling and to see how close you can get to the cuticles before committing to trimming away the non-living tissue. This is what I did when I started to help me build my confidence until I got more comfortable. The epinicium seals and protects the nail matrix, which is where your nails form the nail plate. So you don't want to cut or damage the epinicium as it's living tissue, so be careful as you go around not to use too much force. Once this is done, you can use a buffer to gently go around and soften the proximal and lateral folds to give things a more polished look. I'll now go through the advanced method using an electric nail file. If you want the cleanest and most professional results, then using an electric nail file is a must, and this is how I usually carry out my prep. As I maintain my cuticles frequently, I don't have much to remove, but I'll demonstrate how you would use an electric nail file to do this. I start by using a flame-shaped bit. Before using the flame-shaped bit, I like to gently push up the cuticles and lift my epinicium. I prefer to do it this way as it helps me to make sure that any living tissue or the nail plate doesn't get damaged or overfiled. I'm barely touching the nail plate here, trying to mainly use the nib and the belly of the bit, and you should never use excessive pressure. You'll also need to change the direction of rotation on your electric nail file depending on the side of the nail that you are working on. I also like to use a tapered, flat top diamond bit which helps to soften the skin around my nails. Then I'll gently push up any additional skin before nipping the excess off, or in my case, the bit will buff away any remaining cuticle. If you have more cuticle than I do, you can go around with the nipper to carefully trim away any non-living tissue. Lastly, I soften and smooth the skin around the nails using a fine grit ball bit, but you can also use a silicone bit. That's the end of prep, and the next step is shaping. So let's talk about how I shape my nails. Before I file my nails, I always measure them using a nail form so I get an idea how long the nails are and what length I want to file them down to. I am using a 240 grit file, which is the recommended type for natural nails. First, I'll shorten the tip. Then I hold my file at an angle and connect the sides to the top. I try to file one way and avoid the back and forth motion, just being extra cautious not to overfile the nails as I'm trying to keep the shape. I'm looking at my nails from different angles to check that they are symmetrical and to make sure I'm not overfiling the sides. Once I've joined the sides to the tip, I'll measure the nails again so I know if I need to file any more or not. I'm going to repeat these steps on the rest of my nails until I'm happy with the final length and shape. And that's the end of shaping. Before I begin application, I'm going to apply SPF, trying to avoid the nail plate area. I wanted to mention SPF because I believe it's an important step, especially if you're using UV lamps frequently. It usually takes 15 to 20 minutes for SPF to form an effective barrier. So if it's applied before starting your removal, the SPF will have a chance to be absorbed and work better. I would usually do this step first on myself or on my clients, but as I'm recording at my own pace today, I'm going to do it this way around, and I'll have a cup of tea while I wait for the product to become effective. That's a good tea. If my clients accidentally get the SPF on their nail plates, it's not really a problem because I'm going to be soaking off the gels with acetone in any case, and I'll be giving the nail plates a final wipe with a dehydrator prior to application. Some might choose to skip this step or don't believe in it, and it's really up to you what you do. I know it works because a few years ago when I wasn't using SPF and I was creating a lot of content, my fingers became noticeably more tan than the rest of my skin. And I was ending up with not so sexy tan lines. SPF made a difference to me, and I would rather protect my clients and myself in any way I can. The tanning still happens, but at a much slower pace. Okay, let's talk about application. Soakable gels are my personal preference for their overall qualities. I'm going to be using a clear builder gel as it suits my lifestyle and I prefer to keep my base as natural as possible, but there are color builder gels available as well. First, I apply a thin layer of builder gel and I cure it in the UV lamp on a low heat setting. This step is important because in the event that the builder gel doesn't cure properly, this first layer will prevent the uncured gel from being in direct contact with the nail plate. Undercured gel is one of the biggest reasons for developing or experiencing allergic reactions, so I consider this step to be vital. Next, I will apply my second coat and I'm going to slowly push the gel towards the base of the nail, and I slightly let the product spread so I can get as close as possible to the epinicium. This technique does take practice and you want to avoid using too much product or flooding the side walls with gel. If you are not able to get this close at first, it's okay. Try to leave a small gap to be safe and use a small detailed nail art brush to move the gel closer. I'm using a bead of builder gel and I'm spreading it in a zigzag motion all the way down to the tip of the nail for an even coverage. Then I'm turning my hand upside down and I'm using gravity to help the builder gel to self-level. If you need to add, remove or position some of the gel into place, you can use the same detail brush to do this. I always work on one nail at a time because it allows me to have more control and I'm able to achieve a more perfect application without refining it. If you have bubbles in your builder gel after you've applied it on the nail, you can use the same detailed brush to remove them. Dip the tip of the brush into acetone and place a tiny drop onto the bubble and it will disappear easily. I got some excess gel on my skin, so I'm going to grab my flathead brush and dip it into acetone. Then I'll dab the brush on a non-fluffy towel or a lint-free wipe to remove the excess before wiping my skin. If I don't remove the excess acetone, it can cause the gel to spread and flood the nail walls. If this happens, it's best to wipe the area thoroughly with acetone to remove the gel, as leaving it can increase the chances of an allergic reaction. I'm folding a lint-free wipe around my finger to clean around my skin and nails, and after, I'll buff the surface again before reapplying my second layer of builder gel. The acetone removes the inhibition layer, which is needed for the gel to adhere properly to the top coat, so not doing this step could lead to the gel lifting or chipping. I'll then reapply the second layer and bead of builder gel and move on to the rest of my nails, working on them one by one. Finally, I will apply a non-wipe top coat and cure it in the UV lamp for at least 60 seconds. The non-wipe top coat doesn't leave a sticky finish when it cures, and it seals and protects the gel underneath. And that's application done. I didn't mention this at the start of the video, but there's one last step that's very important, which is, drum roll please.
Zero meow.
Zero meowing, she's excited too. Is hydration and aftercare. It's okay. I'm working. She's very excited. I feel bad, let me open the door. She is so excited to be here. She's getting really big because we're feeding her a lot. You wanna say hi? Say hi. Hi guys. Hello. Mwah. Oh. Hi, hi. She's so grumpy. Do you want it to come in? Oh. Do you want it just to cuddle? Oh. She's gone. This is the part I enjoy the most, as I get to use some of my favorite skincare products and admire the end result of all their hard work. Once I've finished my application, I'll wash my hands and apply cream and cuticle oil. Acetone and IPA are super dehydrating, so I want to put oils and nutrients back into my skin. It's important to let the gel set for at least 24 hours, which means limiting contact with water and heat. So no hot baths, showers, saunas or extensive dishwashing. That sounds like butts.
So no hot pots.
Let me try again. So no hot baths. I need to pull myself together. I can't pull myself together. The butts just took me out. Avoid hot butts. After you get your nails done, make sure you... Oh, don't make me cry. Imagine a hot butt. I need to stop, I'm gonna cry. Damn, the hot butt. Oh, I'm crying. Okay, come on, pull yourself together. Yeah, no hot butts, guys, no hot butts. So avoid saunas, hot long showers or baths, and extensive dishwashing.
You sound like a sheep.
Take 15. So avoid saunas, hot long showers or baths, and extensive dishwashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got it.
Better than never. I I talk about nail care in more detail in my previous video, so feel free to check that one out. And I've also linked some products that you may find useful in the description to carry out this at home, so if anything, it's a good starting point for you. And this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, hopefully it was useful to you, and thank you so much for your time and for watching. Feel free to leave any questions or requests in the comments down below so I can go through them, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!